If you're a general contractor and you're feeling like your construction business could be like a ton more systemized, streamlined, organized, all those cliche things that if you've ever seen like contractor, like marketers, like you're dealing with chaos. I mean, honestly, it is chaos and disorganized, and it does keep you up at night, and it does keep you away from your family, and it does like have you doing estimates for dinner instead of being with your kids and stuff like that. So what I put together here is a framework that's going to essentially change your life. If you watch this video, your life will forever be changed based on understanding this concept. So these are my 7 core systems. I believe that every construction company lives and breathes on 7 core systems, like 7 departments inside your company. The 7 departments are marketing, sales, estimating, project management, your superintendents or like your field management, office management, and bookkeeping, right? So what I want you to do as you're watching this video is that I want you to grade yourself based off of these colors, okay? So red means, man, dude, we need a system. Things are falling apart. It's, things are kind of like in chaos and we need a system. Blue, as you can see here in the middle, is the founder is filling it. So, if you're the CEO of your company, which you probably are, if you're the founder, then that's going to remain blue, at least for now. That's like, end game if you want to hire a CEO, which we could talk about later. But yellow is no system is built or the role is not filled, okay? And then green means, hey, we've built a system and the role is filled with an A player. Okay, so I want to do an honest assessment. Where are you at with marketing? I want you to really think deep, take a second. Where are you at with marketing? Does it really need a system? Are you filling it? There's no system built or the role is not filled? Let me know, right? Let's just say, you know what? We really need help with marketing. I'm going to mark it as red. You can kind of make the assessment for yourself and you can kind of come up with your own little heat map here. Sales. Let's talk about sales. I want you to really think deeply about sales. Are your sales good? Are they bad? Are you filling it? Let's say for this example, and I want you to answer for yourself, but let's just say for this video, because it's pre-recorded, obviously I don't know your company, but if you want to talk on a call, then we can do that. Long story short, let's just leave this yellow, for example, meaning like, we have someone doing sales or whatever, but we don't really have a system for it. Let's just say, for example. Okay, I really want you to think through how you're doing on estimating. Do you have an estimator? Do you have an estimating system? And what I mean by system is checklists, forms, quizzes, scorecards, written SOPs, videos explaining exactly your estimating process, right? That's the definition of a system in place. And then you only get a green light if you have that role filled with an A player, not just filled with some, Joe Schmo bum in a seat. You want to have that role filled with an A player that is crushing their weekly scorecard, that's knocking out these checklists, that's following all your SOPs, and that's crushing estimates, and you're making a good margin. Anyway, I digress. So for this example, you might be yellow, you might be red, you might be green. But for this example, let's just go ahead and leave it at yellow, just to kind of, again, pre-recorded video, ding, ding, ding. Okay, now I want you to think about project management. Hey, for this example, let's just say it's red. Let's just say superintendents is red too. Like these are some really, you can see the hot spots starting to emerge. Office management, what if you are green, right? And what if your bookkeeping is yellow, okay? So what if this is your map, right? Office management is green. You do have all the systems written out. You do have an A-player office manager. Everything is humming, hunky-dory. We don't need to focus on that right now, right? Okay, so your hot spots are marketing, superintendents, and project management, and then we'll get into estimating, sales, and then we'll dial in your bookkeeping, right? Think about this, maybe even like do a little chart on the side and be like, this is where I am, and these are my colors, and you'll start to see what system to put in first. Okay, so the next step of this is going to completely blow your mind, and this is the part that I really feel for you is going to be life-changing. If you notice on this chart, everything leads to you, right? The marketing, hey boss, I got a question. Your superintendents call you, hey, I need help. The project managers, I need review this change order, review this pay application. Hey, I need help building the schedule, blah, blah, blah. Office manager, they're just chugging along, everything's fine. Your estimator, you still have to review every estimate. Your sales guy really can't make sales because he doesn't really have a written system in place. Same with your bookkeeper, things aren't quite dialed in. Here's where we're going, and here's where I want to take you inside Systems Accelerator, which is my new coaching program to actually help you can see the link below, actually help you put in all of these systems using my software Structur to use the checklist features, the forms, the quizzes, the scorecards, the written SOPs, all the templates that we have available, and my coaching to help you actually put in these 7 core systems. So this is where it gets exciting. Check this out. My friend, this is where we're going. This is where we want to be. And I believe in you because you can get here. This is where I got to, and I was able to eventually have a life of freedom and finally sell my company and start a software company and kind of live the life of my dreams, making YouTube videos for you guys. I really love this. I want to make something really clear. You have to get to this point before you step away, because if you step away and you haven't greenlit everything, which I'm about to show you here in a second, and how to actually do that, your business will fall flat on its face. It's like letting your 3-year-old ride a bike without any training wheels or something like that. Your business won't be ready. It's gonna fall, it's gonna scrape its knee, it could even get really, really hurt. You could even go out of business if you don't do this the right way, because you have to have the systems and the A players in place with weekly scorecards. You can see that these same 7 core departments, marketing, sales, estimating, project management, superintendents, office management, and bookkeeping, are all lined up this way, and they all report to a chief operating officer, which this is the end game, by the way. This is the end game, okay? For right now, for like a stepping stone, it might look like this, right? Where everyone reports to you, you review their weekly scorecards, everything like that. But eventually, we're gonna get you an executive assistant, a chief operating officer, and all you do is you just meet weekly with your COO and you review all these KPIs on the scorecard, the weekly scorecard, and you can build that within Structur. It all bubbles up, and your COO is responsible for managing the 7 core departments. Those 7 core departments directly lead to the COO. And all you do as the CEO is manage your COO, okay? And with weekly leadership meetings. And eventually you could even bring in a chief marketing officer, a chief financial officer. You could build your C-suite, to work with this guy. But for now, let's focus. So you'll notice that below each of these 7 core departments are overview pages. Now, all of these right here are process pages, okay? And this is, a pretty good example of what some of the accounts, the coaching clients that I've been working with, building out their processes within Systems Accelerator. It's been really, really fun. And these are just some examples of what it could look like. So these are all the process pages for marketing. These are all the process pages for sales. Estimating, project management is a big one, right? Superintendents, not as big, but office management and bookkeeping. So those are the processes that go within each system. And you'll notice there's an overview page for each one. So what I actually coach my clients to do when I'm building out the processes, the systems for them, is on the overview process page, I like to have 3 elements. A text element that essentially gives them the overview of their job responsibilities, right? What are they responsible for? What are they not responsible for? What do we expect of them? And this and that, the other thing, right? Just a nice job description. And then I like to have the weekly scorecard, okay? This is a scorecard element within Structur that you can set up really easily and give them weekly KPIs that get tracked. And then below the weekly scorecard, I like to have a 3rd element called a quiz. So when they're onboarding, you want to give them the quiz to make sure they understand and buy in to their role. It's not just about, don't be afraid of them being like, well, they're gonna look up the answers or whatever. It's not necessarily about testing their knowledge. I mean, that's part of it, but I think the biggest thing behind the quizzes really are like buy-in and kind of like accountability and like a sign-off almost. For example, like on the superintendent's quiz, you could say like, how often does a superintendent do daily logs? And obviously the answer is daily. So the quiz is there for the person that is, you're onboarding, or that has forgotten or has kind of slacked off a little bit. Maybe your superintendent isn't doing daily logs, just as an example. You could have them go take that 7 to 12 question or 15 question quiz, be like, hey, just go back and take that quiz. Let's just make sure you understand our culture, make sure you understand our expectations, make sure you understand your job role. Your job is to do daily logs every day. It's in the quiz. It's in your overview page. It's also being tracked on your scorecard every single week. Why aren't you doing it? So again, you kind of see where I'm going as far as accountability. So that's what the overview page does. And it's probably the most powerful page of all the processes within these systems, within these departments, right? Because the overview page is how you know that each of these roles are winning. Then you get into all of these pages being greenlit, right? So my whole mission behind, Systems Accelerator, which is my program to help contractors like you actually put in all of these systems, is to help you greenlight all these systems so they're not red, they're not yellow, and they're not blue where, you as the founder are doing everything, or it's not red where there's literally no system in place, no one's even doing anything, it's like an urgent problem. We don't want you to live like that. Just imagine your life looking like this. This is the end game, right? And like I said, you might, be the CEO. You might not have a COO at first, which is totally fine. But imagine what life could look like when you greenlight all of these 7 core systems. You greenlight a COO, you greenlight an executive assistant, processes for both of those as well. And then you are fully functioning as a blue, founder is filling it, CEO, and you're just CEO mastery at that point. You're meeting weekly with your leadership team, which is, your executive assistant and your COO at this point. You can have other CFO, CMO, you could do CTO, you could do all the different C's if you want, whatever you want to do. But really, it's probably just fine to just have a great operations officer. So essentially what I want you to do is just think about how your life will look when you nail these 7 core systems, these departments. Everything has a process, and you don't need to be the one checking over everyone's shoulder, let alone at the bottom, you don't want to be the one actually doing it. So if this sounds interesting to you, then you could definitely click the link below, learn a little bit more about Systems Accelerator, and let's talk, man. I look forward to talking with you and helping you, and that's it. I'll see you around. Thanks for watching, and cheers to your success.